We're excited to see our team today. A lot of them was working out at 7:30 in the morning. A lot of them came into office yesterday wanting to look at the film, get better, correct the mistakes, and press onward to Syracuse.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Tigers Roar. Mr. Hultberg wants me to have a different kind of an open. He wants me to say something differently, so you're getting it right now. This is very different. How did I do?
You did great. You did great. We hope LSU is different. We hope the Saints are different, because it can't get any worse than what we saw Saturday and Sunday. Just can't.
Man, I didn't see it coming. My little pick stuff I do, I had LSU winning 40-17. I mean, I couldn't have been
40.
more wrong,
I had them winning 17-14. I thought the defense would hold up. I thought State's defense was good, and that LSU would have some trouble. Never in my wildest dreams did I envision that take them behind the woodshed and just beat them up.
Jordy, you've seen a lot of LSU football games and years in the media. Where does this loss rank? I mean, we can better state that a month from now. I mean, if Mississippi State goes and beats Georgia and Auburn on the road in the next 2 weeks, it would change what we think about last Saturday night. But you've been there. You were there when UAB won, which is the last non-conference opponent to win in Tiger Stadium. 2000, Nick Saban's first year. Where does this loss rank, or is it up there just because it was a couple of days ago?
Well, there have been some really high highs. There have been some really low lows. That Miami of Ohio game with Bill Arnsparger, that was like, where'd that come from? This kind of rates, you just didn't. We had no evidence that LSU's defense would fall apart and have missed assignments like that. None whatsoever. So it was just very, very shocking. Now, the main thing is, how do they respond? The thing that concerned me the most, more than anything else, was LSU's inability to control the line of scrimmage. They just got manhandled.
Got dominated.
And that's only unless they get some more depth and these players improve and develop quickly. This is going to be a telltale sign the rest of the way.
Well, they got Syracuse this week, 23.5-point favorites by the Wise guys. Not really name that score like Chattanooga, but maybe a notch below that. But I think Ed Orgeron was as shocked as everybody. I bet on that plane flight home, he's thinking, what did I just look at?
What was
and
that?
Then when they looked at the tape the next day, what did we just look at? I
guess the good thing is, if you're going to have a bad one, get it all out of your system at once.
But it was a conference game.
You can't name anything of a positive nature in that ball game. Can you?
I can name one thing which was pointed out during the postgame show. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. They didn't miss a field goal.
You didn't take one.
But, I mean, you asked me to name, and, that's all you
But that's
can
all
grab.
behind. Now, the key, look, we all face adversity in every faction of our life at one time or another. How do you respond? How do you bounce back? Who are your leaders? If Darius Geis can't play, Darrell Williams has to step up. The next man, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, has to step up. Nick Brissett, Rashard Lawrence coming back, Ed Alexander out. A couple of players for targeting are out for the first half. So some newcomers come in. And I believe you have to somehow incorporate Miles Brennan into the game plan. You just have to give him some reps, give him some real time. I'm not talking about fourth quarter when you're up by 23. I'm talking first quarter, third series, fourth series, whatever it may be. You got to get the kid in there and let him play.
Coach Orgeron kind of hinted that Brandon would get some reps.
That's not a derogatory comment on Danny Etling. It wasn't Danny Etling's fault. It was a complete collective effort by the Tigers. But you got to get the kid in there just in case, and to see what he can do. Maybe he's lights out, and that gives you hope down the road. You don't know until you play him.
As of Wednesday morning's SEC teleconference, Coach Orgeron described Darius Geis as very questionable. He did not practice Monday and Tuesday. Not sure about the rest of the week as we sit here at the desk. But with all due respect to Syracuse, they can win the game without him. So
Correct.
if it's close, don't risk further injury or look. Don't turn this into something that's going to nag through October and November. Again, I think they can beat Syracuse without him. I may get proved wrong. I don't know. But I think you got to do that at this point and get those other guys reps. Other guys are going to have to carry the ball in that 7-game gauntlet starting in October.
I think where you're going to see the most change is in the wide receiver position. I think you're going to see Who was the safety? Jacoby Stevens. I think you're going to see him get on the field. I think you're going to see more of Drake Davis and Stephon Sullivan. I think you're going to see that as compared to Russell Gage and Derek Dillon. That's where I think you're going to see the biggest influx of change.
Dan Mullen and what he's done at State is well documented, and his pedigree prior to that is rather sporty if you dig it up and look into it. How much of this was Mississippi State? Again, as I said a little while ago, you could better answer that question for me next month. But how much of this was State at home, their conference opener? They had one on the road the week before. They had the cowbells. They had a packed house.
What did I tell you about, streaks have to come to an end? Every dog has his day. Florida has beaten Kentucky 30 straight games. They're going into Lexington this weekend. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. But the difference is LSU gets 5 and 4-star recruits, and they play them right away because they know most of them they're going to get for 3 years. Mississippi State doesn't get those players. They develop, they redshirt. Therefore, down the road, they're playing with older, more experienced players. But again, Ed Orgeron talked about the Simmons kid. That was the number one target on his list. He went to State, didn't come to LSU. How'd you like to have him on your team?
They need him.
Boy can play.
They need a lineman
Boy
right
can
now.
play. So anyway, a lot of credit to Mississippi State and Dan Mullen. It's like Dan Mullen had that 1 year where they were up and said, oh, he's gone. Somebody's going to offer him more, and he's getting out of Starkville, but he stayed the course. He keeps winning. Look out. Good luck, Stark, because he's gone.
We want to remind you the original air of this program each week is on Wednesday, 8 to 10, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans on Pelican Sports TV. We'll push it over to YouTube mid-morning Thursday. It replays on the Pelican. It replays on the ETEL cable system. So whenever you're watching, we appreciate you spreading the roar here each and every week, recapping the week before, setting you up for the next week. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll back it up and hear from some of the players after the game with Mississippi State and hear what they had to say right after. You're always different 24 hours later, 48 hours later, a couple of days later. We're going to share that with you when we return with more of Tigers Roar. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Kreisand, Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us. Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including OptiMap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
Hi, I'm Jordy Hultberg for Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Chairman's Reserve steaks, their pork, their chicken, their seafood, top of the line. Primo barbecue pits, Icy Tech coolers. They can go anywhere and cater anything for you. Go to 751-7665 to call Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market, where good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market.
Look up to the skies.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com. We continue with Tigers Roar, as Bob Seger would say, turn the page, and that's what everybody wants to do.
It's time to move on.
Mississippi State.
It's time to move on.
But we're going to go back to the locker room. We're going to let you hear what some of the players had to say, then I promise you we'll move on, we'll turn the page, and we'll go forward with all of that. So here's some comments that were captured in the locker room after LSU lost to Mississippi State in Starkville.
I feel like a lot of times some of the penalties that were called, like I said, we didn't really agree on, but I mean, you just have to go to practice and work on it. I had 2 holding calls that we didn't feel like was holding calls, but I have to work on getting my hands inside, drive, use my feet, and let go whenever they try to detach. So just work on that at practice.
Have you seen the replay of what Stefan was called for? Did you think that was?
Yeah, I mean, with his route, he goes in, go up. Guy came down, looked like he ran into him. I mean, he can't, he's running the routes. I don't think you want a receiver to just completely go off course to avoid someone. But they called it back, and, you know, we had to come back and make other plays.
Do you think that once things started to go wrong on offense, it's just more and more and more kind of started to, was it kind of like it just kind of couldn't be stopped a little bit?
Yeah, that's not us that was out there playing, you know, we're better than that. Came out, I felt like we was on a good note, you know, but I feel like that really discouraged us at times. Whenever we have a big play, usually it came back for whatever reason, and that's kind of hard on the team to try to get momentum, and you finally get momentum, and then you bring it back for whatever reason. Same as on defense. I feel like we start making plays, and then some calls, like I said, that we didn't agree on, some calls that it was blatant, but just to have it take away your momentum every time you get something going, it's kind of,
You know, we just got, go back to the drawing board. For us, give credit to Mississippi State. They came out and did a great job, hostile environment. For us, just the leaders and the team, we got to come together and make sure that this doesn't happen again.
This is one of the bigger losses you've suffered at least score-wise. Where does this kind of stack up against some of the other tough losses y'all have had?
It's just something for us that definitely a gut punch. But we, for us, we just gotta go back to the drawing board. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. It's just for us that we gotta go back and see what we did wrong and improve on that. And we go to the next game. Like I said, when we go into practice, we do it. And then we go into practice, we go to a game. That's how we do it. And we gotta make sure that we do that. And, commit less penalties and stuff like that.
Coach O suggested that some guys might have underestimated Fitzgerald because of how he dominated him last year. Did you get that sense at all?
Well, we saw, obviously didn't play last year, but watching those guys and how well they did and how he progressed throughout the year and how he's done so well this year. For us, we knew that he was a great quarterback. We didn't I just feel like, he can run, he can throw, he can do all the things we can, and we tried to, really try to hold him in the pocket and not let him run and use his legs. So, for him as a quarterback, he's very gifted, and he's going to be a great quarterback for a long time.
Did you expect to
play as much as you did tonight? It seemed like at one point you guys, I think you lose Ed, obviously you lose Neil at one point. Did you think you were going to be on the field as much?
This is how the game rolls. For us, we got to make sure that when stuff like that happens, we're ready to go, and that's why we practice. That's why we do conditioning, because you never know what's gonna happen during the game. And for us as a defensive line, we got to make sure, like his next man up, Neil goes down. DeAndre Clark comes in, he does what he needs to do. And Greg plays some. Greg started and end today, so it was something that really had 3 guys, and one of those guys that converted nose guard. But for us, like we said, it's next man up. A lot of things happen, and we just got to move forward. And with the guys we have, we got to play ball.
Things other than penalties? Yeah, no. That's stepping on our own toes too. Penalties. I mean, knowing what gaps you have. Some of our guys are a little too aggressive on the quarterback and stuff like that. So that's what happens sometimes. In football. So as well. Is there any difference for Fitzgerald or anything you saw? No, he's a little faster this year. Good quarterback. So give us props on that.
Do you think that maybe some of the other guys on the team, Coach said that some guys may have underestimated Nick because of what you guys did last year? Do you think that was the case from some guys?
No, I think that we got exactly what. I can only talk about defensive line. That's another thing. But I know that we got exactly from them what we saw on film. And, we have to play better, man, especially us up front. We got a lot of senior guys, me, Christian. We got to play better. We got to help the guys outside, We got to get pass rush on the play action. We got, little stuff like that I know I can do personally. I can't fix everybody else. I know what I can do personally.
Is it more frustrating seeing that they beat you with what you knew was coming?
Yeah, I mean, the penalties kind of, messes up a little bit, but that's aggressive football, so what can you say?
I know you're not the kind of guy to make excuses, but how hard is it out there without Richard? How much do you think that kind of makes a difference?
Same, ain't no drop-off. I play right in, so.
Yeah, so obviously,
I'm perfectly fine.
Drop-off when Ed comes in, it's just moving pieces.
No, Ed just as fine, just as good as me.
What do you think went so well for them tonight on offense that they were able to get the yardage that they were?
Well, I feel like, we gave them a lot, with the penalties, and I also feel like we weren't disciplined. The same stuff that they beat us with, Coach Randall went over it time after time all week. So we was prepared for it. So I think a lot of guys got in the moment, sometimes including myself, I put the fault on me as well, and I just don't feel like we was disciplined.
Does discipline come on the players if you say Randall talked to you guys, but is it just not executing what he had told you?
Yeah, discipline comes from us. At the end of the day, Coach Aranda can do so much, but he can't go out there and play for us. And the stuff that he did do for us, it was exactly what they did. So, I tip my hat off to Coach because, Coach put us in a position to be great, but we just didn't take the reins and do what was asked of us.
Do you think some of those guys were maybe on the defense a little surprised at how good Mississippi State really was?
Nah, because we've been preaching that, every team is good, and especially Mississippi State. They an SEC team, they hungry just like us. So we knew they was going to give us their best shot. So we wanted to give them their best shot, our best shot. And we know every team that we play they're going to be a good team. You never underestimate nobody because of their name or, what they done did in the past.
We continue with Tigers Roar again. Players right after the game. You've been there, done that. Right after the game, it's no fun.
That bus ride to the airport, no fun. Plane ride from Tupelo, no fun. That going to bed, not much sleep going on. And then you got to get up in the morning and let's go.
Yeah, so anyway, you got to learn from it. One of the old cliches in the world, you got to learn from it. Like you said, we improve. A lot of things that can be cleaned up. Here at Pelican Broadcasting, we have a new member of the team here, if you will, a correspondent who will be following reports with us from time to time. Her name is Kate Adams. She's very involved with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation, and she put together a little package for you with some of the players earlier this week, not after the game. This was on the Monday stuff that happens out at campus. Here's a new member of the Pelican Broadcasting team, Kate Adams.
It was definitely a shock, and I didn't think it'd be that bad, but obviously it is what it is, and we got to get ready, get better this week.
We just faced a lot of adversity, and we faced adversity a lot, but this was one that we haven't faced in a while, and it's a young team, and we went through it. The reaction for the team is to get better. Nobody pointing the finger at anyone else, which is something that I'm not used to. You come into after a loss and everybody's blaming another position group or the coaches, and we really just getting better together, and it has a lot of voices outside the room, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we still have at least 9 games left, and we the guys is going to have to play that no matter what. So, I feel like my opinion or my teammate opinion means more than anybody else's opinion, and we're just going to fix it together.
Every week we can get better, and every week, people might think a certain way about us now, but, if we just continue to play hard and just get back within the scheme, people, they'll change their thoughts about us.
After a tough 37-7 loss on the road against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, LSU fans feel like they don't have that much that they can be happy about. But there is one positive that can still be drawn. The LSU offense has still managed to have 0 turnovers so far this season.
It's led by Matt Canada. He does a great job. Our guys are doing a tremendous job of ball security. We're still +3 in the turnover ratio, was good for us. I think we practice it. Matt starts his practice every day with ball security. We preach it. We still want to get more turnovers on defense, and I think it's going to help us and make a difference in our season.
But we just, practice what we want to do in the game, and I feel like, Coach O pride on that. So in the game, we try to strip the ball away from the best running backs in the country. So, when we get in the game, when if a receiver catch it, a linebacker need to fly to the ball and go try to get it out. And one day, you're going to be successful because, somebody going to be careless with the ball.
Monday, we're going to need to have a great focus this week on Syracuse. We're going to need to have a great focus tonight. We're going to have to come back in and get some work in. I'm going to grab guys along with me and bring them in and make sure that we understand the game plan, understand what we're trying to do, and we watch the film and understand what they're trying to do to stop us and what we're planning for, and then we can talk once we get on the field and adjust if it's something we're not expecting. But it's something that we can do a better job of, and it's something as a quarterback I'm going to take a huge responsibility on and making sure that we do that. And we have a great practice on Tuesday, have a great practice on Wednesday, because I thought we had good practices late on in the week last week, but I thought Tuesday and Wednesday weren't as clean as they needed to be. So it starts with me, and then it'll hopefully trickle down to everyone else.
Reporting from LSU campus, I'm Kate Adams.
Hey, tip of the hat to Kate on the initial report package that she put together.
Welcome to the ball club.
We'll see what she can throw together going forward. Appreciate that, taking a look with some of those players out there at LSU. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it'll be time to hear from Coach Orgeron. What did he have to say when he met with the media on Monday out at the LSU campus? You're watching Tigers Roar. Spread the roar. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us here on Pelican Sports TV.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's an honor to be official window, door, and signing company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
We continue with Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV.
You know, no sugarcoating the fact that they got beat by Mississippi State. Excuse me. One of the big attributes I think that won Ed Orgeron the job as a full-time coach instead of being the interim was how he bounced back. Think about it. They lost to Alabama 10-zip. They came back the next week, Arkansas, and thoroughly dismantled themselves, 38-10. They had the big letdown game against Florida, lost that. The next week, they go and play their best game of the year, and they blow the doors off of Texas A&M. So his ability to gather the troops, not let them sit and mope and dwell and pout and listen to all the clutter on the periphery and get them to focus in, that's what got him the job. Now we'll see how he can handle this debacle and how they move forward.
What about the crowd Saturday night in Tiger Stadium? I don't know the weather forecast at this point, but if the weather's
hot
good.
Chance of rain.
Oh, is it? Okay.
80,000?
Top end maybe there if the weather's a little bit shaky. Coach Orgeron, as he does each and every week, meets with the media. We have now his opening comments. This is him when he first met with the media after having to deal with the
films
game,
and
look at the tape, talk to his coaches, talk to his players. Here's Coach Ed Orgeron from Monday afternoon.
Hey guys, welcome. After reviewing the film, here's what we came up with. Improvements on defense. Obviously the penalties, again. 4 penalties, 2 targeting. Changed the play of the game, kept drives alive. And we're going to discuss that today. And guys that created penalties are going to run after practice. Our run fits, option responsibility in our tackling. Eye discipline on play action pass, give up 2 long passes, and edge run. We let too many runs get outside of us. On offense, penalties again. 2 of them took touchdowns off the board. Execution. We had 3 critical drops. 1 was for a possible touchdown. Decision-making at the line of scrimmage. Missed assignments. On special teams, our punt coverage, we gave up a 35-yard punt return, which gave them excellent field position, and execution on our kickoff return. And looking back at last week in our preparation, one thing that I will demand and we will get better in our team periods on Tuesday and Wednesday wasn't as sharp as they need to be, and obviously affected our play. We're excited to see our team today. A lot of them was working out at 7:30 in the morning. A lot of them came into office yesterday, wanting to look at the film, get better, correct the mistakes, and press onward to Syracuse. I went to Syracuse. First, I'd like to say I was very fortunate to work there for 3 years. Paul Pasqualone hired me. I learned a lot at Syracuse, a great university, a great educational university. We had a good run there. It's a school that I respect, a football team that I respect a lot, and I'm very grateful to Syracuse. On offense, they're a spread offense and very up-tempo. A lot like Missouri was last year. These guys will run plays at a fast pace, will be very challenging for our defense. They're averaging almost 500 yards a game, 38 points per game. Top players are senior wide receiver Steve Ishmael. They like to create a lot of one-on-one with him. He's a tall receiver, can get up there and get it. Eric Dungy is a very efficient quarterback who can also run the ball. He's a dual threat guy. Dante Strickland is a little running back and hit the hole very, very well. Has 4 touchdowns this year. On defense, they're 4-3. They will show a little odd, but they got 8 returning starters from last year. They're giving up about 300 yards a game, only 84 yards rushing, and almost 220 passing. They allowed 18 points per game, which is 36 in the nation. Their third down defense is ranked 6th in the nation with a 16.3 opponent conversion rate, which is pretty good, as we all know. The Syracuse defense has also forced 4 fumbles and 3 interceptions on the season. They have 7 takeaways. Their top players on defense are senior linebacker Paris Bennett, senior middle linebacker Zara Franklin, and senior free safety Jordan Martin. On special teams, their best units are their kickoff return, average 11th in the nation, and net punt, 42.8 yards. Again, we're excited about our meeting today with our players. I know they're going to be excited about watching the tape, correcting the stuff that we need to get better. Our coach has been working hard, diligently. We're ready to get this game behind us and press on to Syracuse.
Jordy, offensive coordinator for LSU, we know is Matt Canada.
Yes.
You were citing to me a rather remarkable number. Share it with the folks.
I think when Canada was at Pitt last year and they took on Syracuse, I think the final score was 76-61, something along those lines, or 71-66. Anyway, it was a basketball score. Jim Boeheim would be proud if his Orange could score that many points on the hardwood. How do you score that many points and give up that many points? Anyway, Syracuse is up-tempo, boy. They like to get 80, 90 plays a game. Good quarterback in Dungy, pretty good, 6'4", 220. But after that, not much.
The other part we wanted to show you was the question and answer session from the media to Coach Orgeron, talking about a lot of things that did happen, what has to happen going forward. Some really good stuff here. Ed Orgeron from Monday afternoon out at LSU.
Does losing the game to Mississippi State change your team goals for the season?
Well, we only took them one at a time anyway, so I didn't want to put any lofty goals on our guys. We know the expectations at LSU, but we didn't put any championship goals or win every game. We just wanted to take one game at a time and obviously win one game at a time.
Hey, Coach, a couple of questions. When there's a coaching transition like there was with you, you obviously want to get the guys fired up to play behind you and everything. And how do you toe the line between, them liking you and then also the respect factor with, hey, taking advantage of the coaching staff with penalties and some of the things we've seen?
Yeah, well, I think our team has handled it very well. Anytime we discipline them, they've been fine. We discipline them for not going to class or for being late. We on time. We're early now. We discipline for a couple of things. We think we're more disciplined now than we've been in the past, but obviously the penalties are not showing it. It's an area that we need improvement, and I'm sure we're going to do it.
And before the game the other day, perhaps a Mississippi State player kind of instigated it, but there was another one of these pregame things that –
We're back live and in living color. This is Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. We apologize for the glitch there, but it's live TV.
Well, and that's what we did. We got to let them know. You see, I had to come and put the microphone back on and all. I mean, things happen.
You were taking a pizza break. I know.
Things happen. Things like that. But anyway, when you look back, and we're all going to turn the page, you got to learn from it.
Yes.
Correct things that are correctable, and I'm sure each of the position coaches and the coordinators, that's been emphasized like crazy.
I had on my radio show, I called up Jerry DiNardo. He's been a coach. He's coached in big-time games. I said, okay, Ed Orgeron's won. He has got officials coming to every practice. We're talking about the penalty faction. 30 penalties in 3 games, 272 yards of total penalty yardage. They didn't reach 30 penalties until the 6th game a year ago. So it's an epidemic. And he made a great point. Every coach brings officials to practice. Every coach analyzes, looks at tape. They study all this. But he said, if you concentrate on it too much, if you talk about it every day, it becomes ingrained in the mind, and eventually those things just keep coming. They backfire. So you got to just handle it patiently, carefully, continue to instruct. A lot of these are mental penalties. 16 of penalties against the offense, false starts, illegal shifts, motion penalties. Those are very easily correctable. And the targeting calls, you just got to be smart. Got to be smart. And you can't block downfield like that and hold people. It was just common sense. Common sense. So that's what they have to do.
And on the targeting thing, I mean, it's a rule.
Yeah. But it happens to everybody. It's just not LSU, folks. Believe me, it happens to everybody.
All right, we're going to roll again with the head coach, Ed Orgeron.
Does losing the game to Mississippi State change your team goals for the season?
Well, we only took them one at a time anyway, so I didn't want to put any lofty goals on our guys. We know the expectations at LSU, but we didn't put any championship goals or win every game. We just wanted to take one game at a time and obviously win one game at a time.
Hey, Coach, a couple of questions. When there's a coaching transition like there was with you, you obviously want to get the guys fired up to play behind you and everything. And how do you toe the line between, them liking you and then also the respect factor with, hey, taking advantage of the coaching staff with penalties and some of the things we've seen?
Yeah, well, I think our team has handled it very well. Anytime we discipline them, they've been fine. We discipline them for not going to class or for being late. We on time. We're early now. We discipline for a couple of things. We think we're more disciplined now than we've been in the past. But obviously the penalties are not showing it. It's an area that we need improvement, and I'm sure we're going to do it.
And before the game the other day, perhaps a Mississippi State player kind of instigated it, but there was another one of these pregame things that, like the Florida game last year. Does that bother you? Do you want to see that?
It's something that we want to avoid. From what I hear, our players handled it very well. It wasn't instigated by LSU at all. I thought, from what I heard, the people that was there, they backed away from it. But it's something that we don't want. I don't think it was anything like Florida, but that's a distraction, and we don't want that.
Ed, you want to have Donnie for the first half. Who replaces him?
We don't know yet. It's the beginning of the week. Obviously we're going to let Tyler Taylor and Jacob Phillips go after it, but we haven't practiced yet, so we'll see.
The status of 3 guys: Ed, Alexander, Richard, obviously, and Kerry Vincent. We saw him kind of go out the game.
We're not going to have Ed for this week. We're going to see if Richard can practice this week, and I don't know yet about Kerry.
Coach, Darius Geis didn't play much in the second half, or at least late in the game. Is he okay, or could you update his status?
Yeah, he's not going to practice today. He had a minor injury, so we're just protecting him. I think he's going to be fine, though, but we'll not practice today.
Hey, Coach, up here. Danny said after the game that he was going to step up and become more of a vocal leader on this team. Have you identified who the leaders are in the locker room to help you maybe spread the message?
We have some guys like John Battle, Christian Locouture, Greg Gilmore, DJ Chark, J.D. Moore, Will Clapp, K.J. Malone, Darius Geis. Those guys have been fantastic for us. And the guys that I count on, and probably missed a couple of guys. Rashard Lawrence, believe it or not, is a sophomore, is a very vocal leader. So we have a lot of guys that are heading in the right direction on this team.
Coach, are we any closer to seeing Frank Herron play? And I guess why not travel Justin Thomas this weekend?
Let me say this to you, okay? I'm not going to talk about that every week, okay? That's it. And with Justin Thomas, it was just because of the travel limits.
Ed, without Ed, you guys are down to just the one nose tackle. We've seen you move Greg around. I mean, I guess how much shuffling do you guys have to do on that defensive line this week?
Well, here's what we're hoping, okay? We're hoping that we can move Greg Gilmore back to nose tackle. Rashard Lawrence may play this week. If he does, we can back up Greg with Glenn Logan, who played 56 plays and did pretty good at nose tackle on a without much of a notice. And I thought Pete Jenkins did an excellent job of coaching him. And behind him will be Neil Farrell. But we're very thin there, and it's an area that we need to do a better job of recruiting, and maybe have to go get a couple of junior college guys to help us out there.
Coach, based off of this performance this week, I know you've always talked about competition. Are you opening up any spots, offense, defense, going into
We haven't
this
talked
week?
about that. You know, we think that the guys that we got are in pretty good shape. Obviously, we want to use the rotation, keep our guys fresh, but I don't think it was a matter of that. We didn't play well as a whole team. That's my responsibility, and I'll take the blame for all of it.
Coach, did you consider playing Miles Brennan on Saturday, and might he have a role this week?
You know, it never came up that Danny was playing that bad that we need to put Miles in. But I will say this to you, that we're going to give Miles more reps this week, and we'll see if he can play in the next couple of games. We'd love him to play, but that all depends on how the game goes.
Coach, you still managed to have 0 turnovers so far this season. How are y'all going to keep that up?
Say it again.
Y'all still managed to have 0 turnovers so far this season. How are you guys going to keep that up?
It's led by Matt Canada. He does a great job. Our guys are doing a tremendous job of ball security. We're still +3 in the turnover ratio, was good for us. I think we practice it. Matt starts his practice every day with ball security. We preach it. We still want to get more turnovers on defense, and I think it's going to help us and make a difference in our season.
Offensively, especially in the passing game, it seemed like the running game was very effective tonight, passing game not so much. Where do you think that disconnect was? Why was the pass circle?
You know, we dropped some balls. We dropped one, was for a touchdown. We didn't hit some passes. We had a lot of one-on-ones. Whether we didn't catch the ball or the ball was not on the money, like they have been in the last 2 games. I think that the pressure was there. We didn't have a lot of pressure the first 2 weeks. Their defensive line did a pretty good job. We only had 1 sack, but I think there was 8 or 9 pressures that affected the throws. The crowd noise, us being behind. The 2 drops really hurt us on some drives. I think that's a combination of all those.
Kind of piggybacking on that, I know to win the game, you have to win the line of scrimmage. So what was more disappointing for you, the mental bust, whether it be protection issues or defensive assignments, or getting whipped, I guess, physically?
Yeah, I think the tackles for loss, the pressures, getting beat one-on-one, which didn't occur as much that I thought of when I watched the game. It's emotional, and I went back and watched the film. Our guys did a little bit better than I thought. On the defensive line, we played pretty good in between the tackles. There was a lot of runs outside the tackles that affected us. We got cut a lot on the perimeter. One time we were squeezing a block and it bounces out for about 40 yards. It's a technique deal. Our coach Arden, it was Arden on that play. Option responsibilities created big holes. So I think that we can shore up the things that were broken. And it wasn't as much as a physical thing as it was an alignment, assignment, and technique deal.
And, can you appeal a suspension for when a player is ejected? Can you
say it again?
Can you appeal a suspension when a player is ejected?
Yeah, we
can. I was asking specifically about Farrell because it looked like he kind of fell forward. Targeting seemed
kind of
All these things, we send them in. We send them in and we'll question them, and we'll see where that goes.
I think it was 80% of the plays Arden was on the field. They went the other way. That's
Good game
gonna happen.
plan.
So how do you have to counter that going forward?
Yeah, there's different things we can do, and there's things that we can do now that we got Arden back. We only had him for a week, so obviously we didn't want to put him in 3 or 4 different situations and line up rules and stuff like that. We want him to get his feet in the grass and play. But now that we got him back, now that we have him in practice, we can do a couple of things that they won't know where he's lining up according to the formation. But it's a good point, though.
The 2 questions. Well, you said one of the offensive issues were decision-making at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that?
I think it falls on the quarterback. And talking to Matt today, there were some things that we could have done better as far as maybe give the speed sweep, as far as run the ball, counting people in the box, throwing the ball, where to go with the ball. We weren't as sharp as we wanted to be, so we're going to work on those things in practice.
Just kind of like you, I didn't get to look at it. I saw it on the field, but it was one of the first times I've seen LSU look slower than the defense.
Yeah.
They really rallied to the ball well. Is that Todd's influence, and do you feel that it's an area that your team needs to kind of recognize and improve upon?
There's no question. I've been talking about Todd Graham's influence on this since the spring. And Jeffrey Simmons, those guys were good up front. They were good, and they played fast. You're right. They were at home. They were on fire. I think they played about as good as they can, and we played about as bad as we can. That was obvious.
Coach, you mentioned Tyler and Jacob at inside. What have you seen through the first 3 weeks from them, and what do you want to see in practice when you're making this decision?
Consistency, focus. The linebackers are the quarterbacks of our defense. We're getting a lot of formation nowadays. Playing option football, there's a lot of different assignments, a lot of different reads that those guys, when you go into the game, according to a formation, we may adjust the defensive lineman in front of you. One time you'll have the quarterback, one time you'll have the dive. That was happening too fast. So I think that is experience, the game to slow down, a little bit more studying, more reps, more game time experience.
Coach, the players we spoke to after the game said they were embarrassed by the outcome and everything. I mean, you think that's a positive for them to get angry about what happened and to maybe use this game as look back on this is where we turned around our season?
I do believe that. I do believe that this is going to be a turning point for us. It better be. I learned a lesson. We did not prepare as well as we should. We did not play well. It's my responsibility. I think it's good that they're angry. I know the coaches are angry. We're angry at ourselves. We could have coached better. I know they felt they could have played better. And we can't underestimate anybody, especially when we're going into their house. Those guys are on fire.
Ed, we're used to seeing these defensive backs at LSU obviously play really well, but a couple of coverage busts or so, big touchdowns. What did you see on film from those?
Eye discipline. Like I said, eye discipline. I mean, just play action pass. A lot of time we count on our DBs to do a lot. They fill on the run and also play their man to man. But the first thing they got is him man to man. And a lot of times they were looking in the backfield, and they had a good scheme. It was difficult, but you got to keep your eye on your man until he blocks. And a lot of times they were looking in the backfield and they ran by us. Not a lot of times, 2 times.
Coach, is it normal for players to come in on Sunday and watch as much film? Greg Gilmore talked about getting the D-line in there to watch film on Sunday after a loss like this.
Usually you don't see them much, okay? And obviously that's voluntary. That's their day off. But there were a lot of guys, not with the coaches, on their own, doing a lot of things yesterday, which is good. I saw a lot of guys come by. I talked to some. And I think that you see leadership coming on. I think those guys are they're very focused and detailed on what they want to get accomplished. They were very disappointed the way they played. The coaches were disappointed. We got some very good coaches on this staff. We didn't coach our best game since I've been here. It was obvious that happened. And I think that is going to motivate us this week and for the rest of the season.
Ed, we talk a lot about depth on the defensive line, but what about just across the team? I mean, you've been on a lot of football teams as a coach. When you look at the depth across the board on this team, how does it compare to others maybe that you've been a part of?
Yeah. Well, we need to get more linemen on this football team. We need to get bigger, stronger, and faster. We have to have more depth. That's why we're going to have to go into the junior college ranks get a couple of offensive linemen, a couple of defensive linemen. I'm glad that we have Braden Fehoko. I wish Tyler Sullivan was eligible and 40 pounds lighter. I don't know which one would be easier, but I think that Tyler's going to lose weight and be a good football player for next year. And I think Braden Fehoko is going to be a very good football player. That it? All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good day.
We just witnessed a rarity. He didn't say "Go Tigers" at the end.
Wow.
Normally he always does it. Everybody on the staff down there does it.
During post-game interviews,
Dee Dee
halftime
Bro,
interviews.
Beth Tarina, they all will "Go Tigers" when they get done, huh?
Yeah, they got the memo.
Right.
Ed forgot. He might get fined.
Yeah, he might get an email, huh? All right, the opponent, Syracuse. We're going to take a little break. When we come back,
Can you believe they're in the ACC? That just doesn't sound right. ACC,
Big
Syracuse.
East, huh?
Big East.
But we're going to
Pearl
come
Washington.
back. We're going to talk
Carmelo.
to Jim Boeheim.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to a guy who you've connected with from Syracuse, who's got the ins and the outs on Dino Babers and the Syracuse program. Stephen Bailey of Syracuse.com will join us right after this pause on Tigers Roar. Stay with us.
Boeheim, come on.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
We continue with Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV. I'm Tommy Krysan with Jordy Hultberg. Jordy, introduce our guest.
Stephen Bailey covers the Orange on a day-to-day basis for Syracuse.com. He's kind enough to join us via the phone all the way up in the lovely village of Syracuse, New York, where it's about 60, 65 degrees, I hear. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a nice, cool evening up here.
All right, just enjoy it before that snow comes, baby. We'll be thinking about you come November, December, when we're in the 80s and you're in the sub-teens. So anyway, this is a return trip from LSU or Syracuse back in 2015. Talk about your ball club so far. You really haven't played the greatest of schedules, but what have you determined about this club to date after 3 games?
Sure. So Syracuse is 2-1. They beat Central Connecticut State, an FCS team, as well as Central Michigan, and they lost to Middle Tennessee State in Week 2. Just kind of comparing this team to last year, the defense is definitely better. They really struggled to get pressure last year, and they run a Tampa 2 defense, so that's a lot of 4-man front.
Mm-hmm.
And this year we've seen, the ends get a little more pressure. They've installed some blitz packages. This is year 2 in the system, so they've kind of gotten a chance to go in and, put some finishing touches on the system here. And you've seen some linebacker blitzes, some safety blitzes, and it's been better. So they've gotten better pressure, and because of that, the secondary hasn't quite been tested as much. They are deeper there. They're more experienced there, so the defense is better. The offensive line returns the bulk of its kind of contributors at the skill positions. The real question is the offensive line. They've got redshirt freshmen at center and left guard. And really, their best offensive lineman, Aaron Roberts, suffered a season-ending knee injury in the offseason. So there's not much to lean on in that regard. So I think they're still figuring out what they can do, what they can't do. They certainly look better, that unit up front, in Week 3 than Week 1. But, looking at LSU's defensive line, you'd like to think that's an area Syracuse may be able to exploit. But I'm just not sure they can do it kind of with the personnel they have.
Stephen, let me ask you this. If you could best describe this Dino Babers offense, would it kind of be like a up-tempo basketball team? How would you describe it?
Yeah, run and gun for sure. I mean, I think just kind of he wants them to go fast, and based on the personnel they have, they got to pass a lot. Their running game really, all 12 games last year and through the first 2 games this year, there was just nothing doing. And last week against Central Michigan, they had a couple long games, a couple 70-plus yarders, but there wasn't consistency, and that's kind of what's still alarming. I don't think anyone expects them to come out and be able to even get 4 or 5 yards of carry against LSU. I mean, their starting running back averaged 3 yards per carry last week. So that's been a big problem. They're going to go fast. They've got some good possession receivers. Steve Ishmael on the outside is probably the guy to watch, number 8. And they'll do some short stuff, tunnel screens, timing routes, slants. You'll see some fades, some back shoulder balls. But without the running game, I feel like we're still not seeing kind of the full, complete offense that head coach Dino Babers kind of wants to really get going here.
When you say up-tempo and go fast, run and gun, how many plays do they normally average offensively per game?
I mean, if we see them play 4 quarters of, first-team offense really going for it, they can get up near 100. They really can.
Wow.
I mean, they're trying to – and they got to move the ball to do that, mind you. I mean, if you go 3 and out and you're facing a team that likes to run the ball and slow it down and, kind of try and negate that advantage that the tempo offense gives you as you wear down a defense, you're not getting to that number that you'd like. But if everything's working out well and you're moving the ball and you're getting first downs and you're preventing defenses from substituting, yeah, you can get up into the upper 80s, the 90s, and on a really good game, you can crack the triple-digit mark.
Dungy, we didn't see your quarterback in 2015. He was hurt. He has gotten back, and he's healthy. He's a big kid. Describe his strengths and what maybe some of his weaknesses might be.
Yeah, so Eric Dungy's a junior, and he's a really unique player. He is absolutely fearless. I mean, this guy does not fear contact at all. And because of that, he hasn't finished either of the last 2 seasons healthy. He's missed the last 3 or 4 games of each of his first 2 years. He was kind of forced into starting as a true freshman. And, I think even LSU fans are going to enjoy watching this guy because he loves to make things happen. He works with his feet. There's some designed runs, but he'll scramble a lot. He'll extend plays with his feet, and, we'll see him throw it. We'll see him run it. But he doesn't fear contact at all. A couple years ago at Virginia, he hurdled Quinn Blanding on the goal line, a 6'2" safety. I mean, who does that? You look back at Week 1 this year against Central Connecticut State. Syracuse is up 21-0. I think late second quarter, Dungy takes a run-pass option up the middle, and safety bearing down on him instead of sliding. He keeps going. Safety goes low. He somersaults in midair and lands on his shoulders. I asked him about it after the game. So hey, why don't you kind of make the safe play there? And he's like, I did. I landed on my shoulders. I somersaulted. rather than kind of landing on my legs or landing awkwardly, to him, that's the safe play. And, that's Eric Dungy. He's willing to put his body on the line. It's what makes him so much fun to watch, but it's also kind of what makes him, hard to watch when you see the collision coming.
Stephen, Coach Dino Babers in his second year up there at Syracuse, what's it been like in year two? We always know that first year is a learning curve. What's it been like for the program with Dino Babers?
I think it's a little smoother. More of the roster is guys he's recruited, and I think that goes a long way, maybe more than you see on the surface. System-wise, I really point to the defense. They've got depth. They've got the personnel they want. And when you're running Tampa 2, which includes a lot of zone coverages, you need to be able to trust guys out there, and they've got that this year, which is a big difference. So it's certainly not a finished product. I think only 55% of the guys on roster were recruited by him. But that's still a large step forward, and I think we really have to wait to see year 3, year 4. When you're running a tempo system, you need depth, and that still takes time to truly get kind of the product he wants on the field.
I thought it was very candid when asked about, okay, you saw the formula on how to beat LSU in what Mississippi State did. He goes, yeah, that's true, but we don't have Mississippi State-type players, so we have to do what we do best, and let's see what happens. I thought that was very candid on his part.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of posturing in there, too. No coach wants to feel rushed into having to win games, but I agree with him. Syracuse doesn't... They don't have the proven kind of edge rushers, and if you're running a Tampa 2, you need to get pressure, and you need to get it from the front four. And they're just they don't quite have the guys to do that yet. I mean, for instance, one of their starting defensive ends last week is Alton Robinson, a JUCO guy who arrived less than a month ago.
Wow.
I mean, that's their situation. They're starting a guy who arrived, and he's talented. Don't get me wrong. Nothing against Alton Robinson. He's a true sophomore, and he's certainly got some burst and some potential. But I mean, they just don't have the depth. Up there. So I think that really kind of speaks to the situation and kind of the reality that Dino and the coaching staff are dealing with.
Stephen, we got Jordy Hulberg here, former basketball player at LSU, and I don't know if we can have somebody from Syracuse.com on without asking about basketball. Jordy, I'm sure you got a basketball question for Stephen.
When's the next Carmelo Anthony coming to Syracuse? Come on. What's going on with the Orange?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I don't cover the basketball team day to day, but I can tell you they're looking to rebound this year. They got Tyus Battle, who's a young guard. I can tell you that Jim Boeheim's going to be here for a while. They just received a verbal commitment from his son, Buddy. So Jim's saying he'll be here another 5 years, which is just,
that's
crazy
amazing.
to think how long he's been here. I mean, who knows when he's going to leave? You figured it was done, after the NCAA kind of situation. It was he'll be gone, in a year or two. They've agreed on it while the AD leaves, and there goes that agreement. And all right, I'll be here another 5 years. I'm not leaving my son out here.
Wow. Jimmy Boeheim.
Stephen, we really appreciate your time. We're going to encourage the LSU fans that want to get some knowledge on Syracuse to go to Syracuse.com, check out your stuff. And we appreciate you joining us here on the program tonight.
Thanks so much, fellas. I
Well
really
done.
appreciate you having me on.
Well done, Stephen. Thank you. The funny thing is, Syracuse isn't going to bring Jim Brown. They're not going to bring Floyd Little or Ernie Davis. What great running backs they've had. The tradition they used to have. It's amazing how basketball just took over and dominates. They'll get 33,000 in the Carrier Dome, and they'll be lucky if they get that for a football game.
Yeah, well,
it's amazing.
There are places in the country.
Larry Zonka, too. I mean, think of the running backs.
Bigger, more followed than the other.
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky's trying to rattle football right now, but that's going to be.
I'm trying to think of the one school that really does both extremely well.
That's a good question.
You think of Kentucky's. Who's good? Alabama's great in football, basketball.
I got one for you. How big a picture we going here? Huh?
As big as you want.
Oklahoma.
Basketball?
They've had a Wayman Tisdale. They've had some runs.
Yeah, but I'm talking consistently. Consistently, really, really good. You don't find many.
Football,
no. USC's no good in basketball. When you think about the powerhouses in football, you don't correlate that to basketball. So I'm trying to think. Kansas? No, not in football.
Not in football. Not even close.
Indiana? Not in football. It's hard. I have to do some research on that.
You have to do a little bit of that. Hey, programming note for you next week on Tigers Roar. Roman Banks, athletic director at Southern University, going to tell us
Pretty
some
good
things
basketball
happening
coach,
out there
too.
on the bluff. Roman Banks will be joining us for a portion in the show next week. So you Jaguar fans, you don't want to miss that. Jaguars head up to Alcorn for a little football game this weekend, a SWAC game. Then they're home for 2 straight, including homecoming. So we'll visit with Coach Banks about all of that next week. We're going to take a break, come back. We got a lot more for you here on Tigers Roar. Still to come, Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com, recruiting info, and Mike's thoughts on the Tigers. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Chrysam. We want you to spread the roar. Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us.
Jaguar Nation, I'd like to say thank you for your continued support of our student athletes and our coaches. Once again, you have shown America we have the greatest fans in the country. It's time. Football season. Season tickets are available. Go Jags.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-718-3516, 800-718-3516.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Hello. Hola. Ni hao.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Remind you about WUBR, CBS Sports Radio affiliate in Baton Rouge, home of the Jim Rome Show, the flag bearer for CBS Sports Radio. Mixture of local and national programming, including Jordy Hultberg, Buddy Sanji, myself, Dave Scannoliato, Ken Trahan, Carlos Brown, Louisiana Music Hall of Fame Radio, select Houston Astro games. It's all on WUBR. Get the app. Take us on the smartphones wherever you go. Also, when you have the radio station, the Pelican Sports Postgame Show, which will air about 9:15 this Saturday after Syracuse and LSU. They'll kick it at 6. Pelican Sports Postgame Show immediately followed on both television and radio. Check it out if you're tailgating out there or if you're in traffic, whatever it may be. It's right after the game coming at you on WUBR. To spread the word about the local radio station. Jordy, you have a radio program. It's also in the Lafayette and New Orleans market.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy. Every afternoon from 2 to 4 on 103.7 The Game in Acadiana, Sports 1280 in New Orleans. So 2 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday. I can only imagine how the post-game show went after a game like that.
As Buddy Sanji would say, it was spicy.
Spicy. Okay.
Lots of text messages, lots of phone calls. And that's the key.
Fans are great. Fans are great. You love them. You love their passion, but they tend to go like the stock market. Up one day, down the. Nothing's ever as good as it seems. I've learned a long time ago. Nothing's ever as good as it seems. Nothing's ever as bad as it appears. So there's somewhere in the middle. Time to grow. We'll see what happens.
That's the key with the post-game show. It's right after the game. Phone calls, text messages.
You have to beep them out sometimes?
We did have one of those here not too long ago.
Sometimes they get a little.
It wasn't that bad, but Buddy corrected them. Buddy monitors that stuff. So that's Buddy's department.
He monitors.
Well, he makes sure that they don't do it again.
Okay.
So we leave that to Mr. Sanji.
The enforcer.
The New Orleans Saints, for the 4th straight year, are 0-2 coming out of the gate, with 2 road games coming up against a good team and a kind of good team. But that second one's in London. You have to get up at 8:30 in the morning to watch that one.
Here's what's going to happen.
What?
They're going to beat Carolina. They're going to go over across the pond. They're going to beat Miami. Everybody's going to go, yes, yes. And get their expectations up, and it's going to be another 7-9, 8-8. It's so predictable.
We have some
no defense again.
We have some Saints highlights for you. Got to go with it. NFL team right there in New Orleans. Take a look at the Saints.
Now a 2nd and 8. The handoff is to Cooks. And he shoved out of bounds, but not until he picks up another first down. Giving you so many different looks. And now with pressure, Brady to the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Rex Burkhead.
And then they got Michael Thomas. They need to find a second red zone.
From 46 yards, Lutz's kick is good. So each team puts up points.
Aren't quite as gifted on that side of the ball as New England has been.
2nd and 10. They fake the end around to Hogan, and they go back to Burkhead. His 3rd catch, and he's galloping all the way out to the 45, chased down by A.J. Klein. Brady with pressure from behind, gets rid of it. Gronkowski left alone. Breaks off the tackle, and he's in for the touchdown.
Can you believe that? Buys time, stands right in the middle of this pocket, right there with everybody around him, throws flat-footed off his back foot, and just a backyard play, and then Gronkowski's just, no one tackles this guy.
Well, the guy that was covering him was the same guy that gave up the touchdown to Burkhead, Anzalone.
He played him good. I mean, who has to cover for 9 seconds like that? He ran all the way across the field and just stand here and let's throw it 30 yards downfield for a touchdown.
Yeah, Rankin's had his hand on his shoulder, and he still was able to get it away. Handoff for first down. That's a nice piece of running by Gillislee. Steps up. And it's caught for another conversion. Gronkowski with another grab at the 39 of New Orleans. Down. And now inside 2 minutes to go in the first. New set of downs. All kinds of time. And waiting for it with the catch is Dorsett. There were 2 defenders, actually 3 in the area on the near side. The backup tight end. 3rd and 7. And here's Brady. Lobbing it again with a flag out. Hogan has the touchdown reception. Will it hold up?
Got to do something on this drive.
2nd and 5. And going down the field. And what a catch. There it is, Tony, right as you ordered it. Camaro with the catch.
Chung outside, and he's just going to run single high man right up the sideline. I mean, you just never throw that ball without a double move, some sort. Sean Payton loves this kid.
It's a 3rd and 4.
Heads up for the fade inside to 16.
Here's the pass to the end zone, and it is 16. It's Coleman for the touchdown. 3rd and 8. Saints bring 6, and they get to him back at the 18.
Aiden's right here. Now he's going to snap it.
3rd and 8. And he goes deep with it. He's got an open man. It's Coleman. And Coleman slips out of it and then goes out of bounds. But another big play by New Orleans.
You're going to see Coleman just come all the way from the inside up the sideline. And they get, I mean, there's a lot of pick routes going on. And you're almost just saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and just throw him. And Breeze, right after, takes a little bit of a hit right there from behind.
It's Josh Hill's attention. Tight end as he goes toward the end zone. And it's knocked away at the last moment. That is Jonathan Jones taking it out of the hands of Ted Ginn.
He calls it out before the snap, and the ball's right there. Maybe wants a little more on it so the DB can't get in there. Jones, it's really just a good defensive play. Throws to.
They've got the 3 wide receivers in uniform on the field at this time as Brady throws it to one of them. It's Hogan slashing across the 30 and then ridden down from behind. Ball comes out, but he was down. Allen scooped it up. 2nd and 10. And goes to the other side, and that is Cooks. And they rule it a catch. Gillislee is the tailback. And he gets the football, and he powers across for a touchdown. Running behind the fullback, James Devlin. That beautiful call of Hail Mary at the end of the game. 2nd and 4 as Breeze. He's going deep. Over the shoulder. Caught by Thomas, and the feet are down.
It's the 2-minute situation now. They got all young, new receivers basically in this system.
Here's White. White make a nice wiggle, and then chopped up by Lattimore at the 46.
So you got to keep it simple. 3 or 4 plays, some screens.
And there's one to White. White again, able to break through. So elusive all the way to the New Orleans 43. And that's the breakdown today, that 3-way running game. 3rd and 7. Breeze in trouble, and he's taken down at the 44 by the rookie Dietrich Wise Jr. 2 of you talked about back injuries last night for quite a while at the production meeting. And running into the secondary is Dion Lewis down to the 12. And you were talking, Vaccaro has to come back onto the field. First down from the 41. And look at Brady. Deep ball, and it is hauled in. That's Dorsett at the 4-yard line.
1-on-1. Bad job on the coverage of not staying. The ability to move right over here right when you're in my way.
3rd and goal from the 5, and Brady standing there, and now forced to move. Steps up and ducks. Has to. Dowski. And he's got 3 more on the board. He's always had in the second half a couple of field goals.
Ready, set.
And out to the goal line, stretching out. Brilliantly done by Fleener for the touchdown. He's got a touch for the 2nd straight week.
He throws away little stuff like that to just make your analytics get thrown off. It's really smart.
Here's the handoff from Brady to Gillislee down to the 30. They'll be taking on a Houston team next week.
Like usually it happens when you're done. We get to watch them still each week.
Last play of the game is a handoff to Ingram. And he picks up a big chunk, but we close it out with a 36-20 New England.
It's a difficult loss. There are not going to be a lot of things, that we like when we watch this tape. Certainly offensively, we weren't able to keep up. We didn't play like I feel we're capable of playing. We've got to get better, and not just on defense. Like I said, we've got to be better offensively. We're not turning the ball over, but we're not creating any turnovers either. Obviously we didn't do enough good things today to give us a chance. We got to find ways to stay on the field, and especially when you're playing a team that's keeping your defense on the field. We didn't run the ball well enough, honestly, today. The sprint here that we're in to improve each week. It's 2 weeks in a row, really, where there's been too many quick strike plays that make it difficult to play consistently. Next question.
I wouldn't say we're out of sync. I would say that we've had some missed opportunities. I feel like we've put together some good drives. Unfortunately, not enough of them have resulted in touchdowns. I'm not concerned. Listen, it's only a matter of time. And I felt like there were some things that came together this week that weren't there last week or that were better. It just hasn't been good enough yet. So we had a good understanding today as to how we needed to attack these guys and where our big play opportunities could come, and we did make some big plays, but unfortunately there was a few that I felt like we could have made, should have made, that unfortunately we didn't, and those become the difference makers. So yeah, unfortunately it's just been a little bit of everything at this point that has caused us to miss some opportunities. I felt like the O-line played great, especially the fact that we had to move some puzzle pieces around, and Ramczyk starts his first game at left tackle last week and his first game at right tackle this week, so I felt like together, though, as a unit, I mean, it's always as a unit because those guys work together so much on everything. I felt like they played very well, and they had a tough task today. I mean, here's the thing: we knew the offense we were going to be trading punches with on the other side, and unfortunately they were more efficient than we were. They sustained a bunch of great drives. They had 7 red zone opportunities. That's a ton. And we knew that we had to be uber efficient, and unfortunately we just were not.
Obviously going back to Carolina, we have another challenge ahead of us, so we just put last week's game to rest and learned a lot of things from it. It's definitely eye-opening for us to see where we have to improve, so just shifting our focus now to Carolina.
Yeah, you guys were expecting or hoping for some carryover from preseason. Why has that? Can you see that carryover has not happened?
I think it's almost there. I think we're just a step behind right now. All the pieces are there. You pull up the tape, you see a lot of positive things, but right now we're just a split second behind of making these big plays, and especially up front. I mean, as far as pressure, we did a great job in the preseason getting pressure on the quarterbacks, and we're right there. And if you go down and break the tape, I mean, our D line is right there. We just have to do better in the back end of covering and giving them a few extra seconds.
You're going back to your old home, obviously. Do you have any feelings about it? I mean, other than needing to win a game?
No, I mean, it's business as usual. It's back to a work week, and I'm excited to go back and be able to compete against my old teammates, and definitely looking forward to the competition.
You said going back in there, got to give the defensive line more time to get a sack with coverage. What goes into that?
What goes into that? Film study, understanding of formations, route concepts that we're going to get, and where we fit in that for the DBs and the linebackers. So again, it goes back to communication and route recognition.
Yeah. No, after the first game, Coach Payton was saying there was a lot of mental cleanup that needed to occur. Is the same amount, do you feel, after this game, or do you feel like it was more physical this time?
I think it, I want to say it was more mental again, and those are things that we have to continue to improve on. I mean, I can't sit here and sugarcoat stuff, but we had mistakes and mental mistakes again, but we got to move forward, and there's nowhere to go but forward. So I'm not going to sit here and dwell on last week and get ready for Carolina.
I think you were on a Carolina team that started poorly and then kind of had a turnaround, so to say.
That was
pressure, I guess, or can you help this team in this locker room because you've experienced a low and then kind of bounce back and head?
No, like I always say every week, it's a long season. I think it was 2013 we started 1-4 and won 11 games straight. So I think early adversity, it's adversity, but it's what you do with it. And we have to turn this learning experience into a positive that will help us later in the season, because this is a long season. It's not going to be an easy ride, so we have to be ready to play all 16 games.
How important is it to get young guys to buy in? Because some of these young players haven't had any consistent success here. How important is it to get them to stay focused and believe that can truly happen?
Well, I think that starts with, one, the leadership in the room. It starts with me, it starts with Cam, it starts with Craig and all the other veterans, Kenny, of getting these young guys and really establishing the culture of what we want to be as a defense. We have to find our identity and stick with it, and then definitely not pull off from that. If we want to be a physical team, we got to be a physical team, but right now we have to focus on being a smart team too.
The Saints' identity as they get ready to take. What is the Saints' identity as they get ready to take on Carolina
Their
this
identity
weekend?
is they're 0-2, and what Dennis Green said, your record is what you are, or whatever. 0-2, Carolina Panthers are 2-0, He'll kick it at noon on September 24th, this coming Sunday at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina.
No Olsen, the tight end, who always kills the Saints. No Steve Smith either, wide receiver for years, used to kill the Saints. Cam Newton may not be 100%. Wouldn't surprise me in the least if the Saints went up there and won. Wouldn't surprise me in the least.
And that's that NFL thing. Here's an 0-2 team, a 2-0 team. Somebody would say, well, okay, they're going to be 3-0, they're going to be 0-3. But in the NFL, just when you think it's going to go one way, it goes the other. That's why they call it gambling, right?
Wouldn't be surprised. They do that? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to
Thinking of that, Tony Romo's good as an analyst. I mean, really, really good as an analyst.
I was extremely impressed.
He's really good.
Monday on the radio that how impressed I was with the job Tony Romo did. He was prepared, and that's a key to announcing. You've announced hundreds of games. I've announced games. If you're prepared, it's going to come off good. He was.
But his insight and his ability to predetermine what is going to happen has set a new standard for football analysts. The pressure's on the Troy Aikmans and the Chris Collingsworths and these other people, because he's calling, oh, they're setting up for the fade. Boom, there it is, touchdown. He's calling it. Now, some people don't like to hear that. Well, some people want to be like surprised, but he's telling you what's going to happen before it happens. Brilliant.
It shows how bad Phil Simms had gotten, which is why CBS said, you're out of here, we're putting Romo in here. So, no, I'm glad you brought that up. We were talking about it. I mentioned it Monday on the radio. I thought he was outstanding. I look forward to hearing him call another game and see, how that goes. We're going to take a break. When we come back, he's been joining us on a regular basis, and we're glad to have that. Mike Scarborough, TigerBait.com. We'll get the very latest on LSU recruiting, get his thoughts on the LSU Tigers. Looking ahead to the matchup with Syracuse. Still to come on the program, Dino Babers played his college ball at Hawaii. We'll have a little bit of him a little bit later as well. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Chrysan, spread the roar about Tigers Roar, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us.
It's a male flag. He knows who no one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com. continue with Tigers Roar. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Chrysan with you. We're going to bring along Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com, and we've got a couple of breaking items we want to get right to. Mike, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Tell us the very latest on Darius Geis. I just saw it on the old computer. You relay it to the people.
Yeah, just got an ankle problem and looks doubtful for Saturday. So
he didn't practice again today on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if something happens Saturday that he pulls it out and ends up playing. But as of now, it doesn't look good.
And I would say LSU, you should be able to beat Syracuse without him. Let him heal up. Also, Jacoby Stevens working at running back, tight end.
Boy, yeah.
Can't find a spot for the kid to get on the field. They're trying everything.
I don't know what to make of that. Is that desperation or?
I don't know.
I don't know. Mike, in the recruiting world, Coach Orgeron, it was clear as day. He made the comment on Monday, when talking about the offensive and defensive line, they may have to go out and get some junior college guys to fill in some gaps there, fill in some spots on the depth chart. And you and I were discussing, is this something he decided after Saturday night, or you think he's kind of known it? He didn't express a concern before the game about the blocking against Mississippi State. Your take on that, Mike?
Well, it's just first of all, when you look at the numbers that are available based on the commitments right now, you're like, okay, well, you're talking about needing 3 more wide receivers. You got another running back in Joyner that's coming to visit next month from Alabama, Harold Joyner. Justin Fields or Justin Rogers out there, still talking about a quarterback. So now you're talking about adding a couple or 3 more linemen on both sides of the ball that you weren't talking about before. We had known about wanting one junior college offensive lineman in Traore, and then we were waiting to see if another one might surface that they'd bring in. I know Coach Grimes that went to ASA in Brooklyn in the spring. He went to Lackawanna Junior College. And there was a couple of kids that we were just kind of seeing what was going to materialize the last few months. But then to say that they want 2, and then to say 2 junior college defensive linemen, that's the first time we had heard of that on Monday. So I'm like, well, I thought they needed another marquee defensive tackle or nose guard type in this class, but I wasn't sure where they were going to get it. So it makes sense that they would want 2, because in my opinion, if Tyler Shelvin is able to do what he needs to do academically, which he's got a higher standard than the other freshmen, he's got to have a 2.5 each of the next 2 semesters in core courses, and then plus he's got the weight issue that he's got to conquer. So to me, he's Travante Valentine, and to me, you recruit like he doesn't exist.
Okay.
And if he gets eligible and he's in shape, then it's absolute big time gravy, because he can be special. But I wouldn't rely on that. Cotton's hurt at Evangel. I saw Nelson Jenkins Friday night at St. Thomas More filmed him. I think he's a good football player. And that's where the question is, when you see the deficiencies in the talent on the LSU roster, particularly linemen on both sides, the worry is I don't see answers currently on the roster. I think Rashard Lawrence is a very good defensive lineman. And when he gets healthy, they'll be better off there. But still, between what's behind him and on the current roster and what's currently committed to LSU, there's no difference maker in the defensive line that I've seen. There's no Dorsey, there's no Williams, there's no Brockers, there's no Lavallee. That's not there.
Let me ask you this. We're talking with Mike Scarborough, TigerBait.com. Lowell Narcisse didn't make the trip to Starkville. That tells me they're really trying their very best to convince this kid to take a red shirt. He hadn't played in years. I wonder what the Narcisse group is thinking. I'm not trying to cause any controversy, but I'm wondering what they're thinking. And do you even attempt to play him at all this season?
Yeah. I don't know what his mindset is. I'm sure he's antsy and wants to play, and it also depends on what's the nature of the quarterback battle in the spring? There's guys that you can only bring so many guys on the road in the SEC. They limit you number-wise. So if a guy's not going to play, you keep him home, and then, of course, everybody gets to reap the benefits and the fun of a bowl game. Which I think that's a rule I hope that they do change it. They've talked about letting, freshmen and guys who didn't play all year play in bowl games.
Agreed.
Without burning a red shirt. I think that would be an awesome move.
I agree totally.
But it also shows you the state of the bowl system now that the playoffs are all about.
Yeah,
people are thinking that that's a great rule, but
the other bowls mean nothing.
It means the bowls mean nothing. Right.
And you're going to have more Fournette and McCaffrey, and guys are going to say Citrus Bowl. I think I'll sit this one out. I got a paycheck coming when the NFL does their draft or whatever. So you're gonna see a little bit of that. And there were those people who warned against that when the playoffs started.
Mike, let me ask you this.
And look, and that's part of the rub in the SEC right now. I'm talking to the other guys that run rival sites, or Florida guy or Georgia guy, or and we're all seeing how bad the SEC looks.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at what Alabama looks like. I don't even think they're going to break a sweat.
Yeah, Nick is joking with the media, so he's just.
They're just gonna. Who's gonna beat Alabama?
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. We see the fans' reaction to a 37-7 loss. What are the recruits? What are their reaction to something like that? Because all these, you've said this before, offensive-minded players are looking at this offense to see what Matt Canada's going to do, and they laid an egg against Mississippi State on the road. I wonder, what are recruits saying about this?
Well, but that's always the thing. You think that they're looking at wins and losses, and how fans are melting down. My history and my experience is they're looking at opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 or 3 freshmen on LSU's board that can walk right in and start, that are seniors in high school right now.
Give me a name. Who would be one? A wide receiver?
I think Jamar Chase. I think a healthy Terrace Marshall. The 2 raw kids, from what we saw with Jeray Jenkins before he got hurt, I had a video camera up there, his first game against Winfield. He looked very good. The kid at Berwick looks real good. You never know if one of those 2 sleepers there that are very athletic and raw, it's small schools, that they're not going to give you something.
Yeah.
But I think Jamar Chase and Marshall, you could very well have a Clayton type of guy emerge out of one of those 2, if not both of them.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Mike, your take on this LSU football team at the quarter pole. 3 games in, what do you think?
Of course, you got to get those 2 guys. They're not committed to you, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Okay, what was that?
Your thought on the Tigers at the quarter pole, 3 games in?
I think that sigh said it all.
He just answered it.
I think you just answered when you went.
Yeah,
we still don't know. We still don't know.
What's funny is this time last year, after Miles got fired on that Sunday, and we're talking about who are the candidates, what's the situation, and I was telling people in our chats on Tiger Bait, and I've said it, various places. I thought no matter who got the job, the pinnacle of LSU, based on what we were looking at this, we just got the schedule for next year, this year. It's about the same time last year we got this year's schedule. Said, holy smokes. So between what was going to be missing talent-wise, the schedule, a new coach, I said the best any coach, no matter who gets a job, is going to be 8-4. But somewhere between then and this offseason, I went to 9-3. And I think mostly because buying into the Matt Canada hype, and secondly, knowing how down the SEC is.
Good point.
But then after the first 2 games this year, I'm thinking, man, LSU might go 10-2 until what we saw Saturday night.
Big boy football. We'll see. We'll see.
Mike, tell us what's happening at TigerBait.com and why folks
should
subscribe.
Got our all-day chat, goes on every Wednesday, loads of recruiting video. We've been out every weekend. Basketball, we're jumping in full force with Will Wade. A lot of excitement there. So we've got it all for you at TigerBait.com if you're an LSU fan.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Bumble on, big boy. Bumble on.
Talk soon.
All right, baby.
There you go. Question for you that was posed to me on the radio today.
All right.
I think I know the answer, but I'm not going to preset your mind. When Les Miles took over for Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
He inherited a much better football team than Ed Orgeron when he took over for Les Miles. Agree, disagree?
Agree.
1-85.
Agree.
Agree.
One stat of interest. Did you know that Nick Saban lost his first SEC game? Did you know that Les Miles lost his first
I did not know
SEC game? Now, Ed Orgeron has lost his first SEC game. He can only hope to have the success that those two that preceded him had, because they ended up having, when you think about it, unbelievable tenures as the head coach.
Yeah, both will be in
National
the record books
championship.
forever.
That's right.
National titles.
Yep.
That's you just say national title. You
Boom.
don't have to say anything
That's it.
else, right? We're going to take a break, come back with more of Tigers Roar. We're going to let you hear from Dino Babers, second-year coach of Syracuse, who will bring his team to Tiger Stadium. We'll let you hear from Dino Babers after this pause on Tigers Roar. Stay with us.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-718-3516. 800-718-3516.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source. Tigers roared. Syracuse is 2-1, but as you mentioned earlier, and when we talked to Stephen Bailey from Syracuse.com, they haven't exactly played an earth-shattering schedule. Dino Babers in his second year. You also made the point earlier, they're worried about the hoops up there in Syracuse, New York. Although there's a very rich football tradition when you go back to Jim Brown and Floyd Little and
Zonka.
Larry Zonka, and you know they've got some history there, but none recent. Well, bowl trips and all.
We pass out the number 18 jersey. They hang up the number 44. That's a pretty big number up there.
Yeah,
running backs. That's
no
pretty
question. Well, as we mentioned, Dino Babers. He's in his second year. He was at Bowling Green before he ended up at Syracuse. He played football out at Hawaii. He was born in Hawaii. I wanted to give you a little bit of the second-year head coach of the Orangemen, Dino Babers.
Coach, so LSU has won 48 straight non-conference games at home. Obviously, there's something about the stadium that gets into people that haven't seen it. You said you haven't seen this place before either. So what do you think Death Valley represents?
Someplace where there's a great home field advantage, and I haven't been there. I've heard coaches talk about it and how difficult it is to win there, and looking forward to our opportunity to go try. But I hear it's an outstanding deal. It's something that you need to do as a coach and kind of like cross it off your bucket list, so to speak. So it'll be interesting.
And will you let your team enjoy any of the extracurricular stuff that goes along with it, or will you?
What do you mean, like getting hit by really big, fast guys? I think it's all part of it. You got to take that stuff in, and you got to be able to lock it back in when you go to get to the game. Whether you try to keep it away from the team or not, it's going to happen. They're going to feel it, so they might as well embrace it.
Coach, not environment, but just like the Virginia Tech game last year, it's an opportunity for you guys. Is that something that you're saying to the guys?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, it's football. You always have a chance. What is it, 48 games that they haven't lost to a non-conference opponent. They're a good football team. They're different than us. Their home field advantage is real. That's a real home field advantage. All their players are five-star guys. I've only met or got a chance to know really one guy from Louisiana. And when I was at San Diego State, my first job was to go talk to Marshall Faulk and try to get him not to go to the pros as a junior. And I had a conversation with Marshall, and Marshall said he was going to the pros, and that was it. And they didn't even want him as a running back at LSU. So, I mean, who do those guys have that they don't want Marshall Faulk as a running back? So, I mean, it's a very, very talented football team. We got to understand that, and the environment and the situation is extremely special that they play in.
I'm curious, when you look at Geis on film, what do you see, and who kind of has the unenviable task of being him on the scout team this week?
We've got a lot of guys, and none of them are going to be him. But we got a lot of guys that are trying out for the role, so to speak. But I think he's a very, very talented back. He's different than the starter from last year. I think he's more complete. I think he can catch passes. I think he can run, and he's tough between the tackles. He's one of those guys that gets 6, 8, 10, then he goes for 20, then he goes for 40. I think he's more of a complete back, and he's going to be very difficult to stop.
Coach, with LSU losing to Mississippi State this past week, kind of showed a little bit of weaknesses with the Tigers. Curious if you've seen much film of that game, and what do you think could be exploitable coming into next week?
I got done with that tape 10:30 last night for the third time. I started at 4 a.m. yesterday. And the big thing I just got through talking to the coaches is that, hey, we can do this, we can do that. I'm like, we're not Mississippi State. We can't do that. Our left tackle can't do that. Our tailback can't do that. It's two different teams. So we've got to try to attack them a different way. To say that we can take the Mississippi game plan and do it with our athletes that's not smart. Okay, we've got to do what we do, and hopefully things will work out.
I wondered about the humidity and heat down there, and how much maybe practicing inside the dome all week with the heat up here, and how sticky and hot it gets in there. Is that something you thought of, or will try to prepare for that one?
You go down there, you're talking about hydration. The first thing you want to do when you go to an area that can dehydrate you is make sure that you're hydrated. So going and practicing and dehydrating your team so they can be hydrated for the game, what you want to do is make sure they're hydrated when they get there, and they're hydrated well enough so they can finish the game. that's the way to do that.
It's going to get tackled by big, strong, fast guys. That's pretty good.
He's never been to Baton Rouge, never been to Tiger Stadium,
Right.
but he's talked to other coaches, got to check it off the list. You know, that's, and not just Tiger Stadium, but I'm sure guys that have been around.
I've never been to the Rose Bowl. I want to go to the Rose Bowl.
Guys that have been around like Babers at a different level. Yeah, you hear that. I mean, I'm sure they all have their one or two or three stadiums that, I wish I could play a game in that stadium. Akin to you being a college basketball player, saying, man, I play in Rupp Arena.
One of my big thrills was to go to the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like really, and look at those rafters and look at the leprechaun at the
Hopefully
midcourt.
you were there when it was the winter, because there's no air conditioning in the
No,
garden.
well, yeah,
Well, the new
it's
one
better.
there is,
It's
but
better
the
now.
old garden.
At the TD Garden now. Yes.
And this is, I'm sure you've been to Madison Square Garden.
Mhm.
Let people know, isn't that on like the 20th floor?
Yeah,
of that
you
building?
got to go up and elevate. It's
You know,
ridiculous.
Madison Square Garden, you think, it's like in a skyscraper
Yeah,
over
it's
there in New
crazy.
York.
But Boston, you look in the stands, there's JoJo White, there's Hondo Havlicek.
That's good
There's
stuff.
Dave Cowens. It's like, wow. I mean, that's
That'll-
pretty good.
That'll get your attention,
Pretty
no
good.
question.
Hondo.
We're going to take our final break on this week's edition of Tigers Roar. Once again, the original airing's on a Wednesday. If you're catching this after that or on YouTube.com/Pelican Broadcasting, we appreciate it. Whenever you can watch it, spread the roar. We'll come back and put a wrap on this week's edition of Tigers Roar. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jordy Helper for Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Chairman's Reserve steaks, their pork, their chicken, their seafood, top of the line. Primo barbecue pits, Icy Tech coolers. They can go anywhere and cater anything for you. Go to 751-7665 to call Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market, where good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy, and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For Total Pest Control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
We continue with Tigers Roar, putting a wrap on things. I want to thank Stephen Bailey, Syracuse.com. If you want to get a little insight on Syracuse, it comes to Tiger Stadium Saturday night. Don't forget the Pelican Sports post-game show right after the game. Your phone calls, your text messages, Buddy Sanji and I, reports from the stadium with the likes of Brian Lazar and Ronnie Rance. We'll have the stats immediately following the game, about 9:15, radio and TV. We go for 90 minutes. TV repeats Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m.
Is LSU going to have a day game ever again?
I don't know. Darius Geis did not practice again on Wednesday. Right. Do not look for him in Syracuse game. I don't look for him to be out there. Let him get help.
You know what I base it upon? I base it upon Leonard Fournette versus Florida a year ago. And I don't say never say never. No way he's playing. And Leonard Fournette said, I'm playing. And he played. So we'll see about Geis. We'll see.
We'll find
but
out.
as of right now, he hasn't practiced, and normally that would lead you to believe that he will not play in the game. But let's just wait and see.
We'll let it unfold. Again,
Yes.
The kick is right at 6 o'clock, right after 6 in Tiger Stadium. Curious to see the crowd. Might be a little rain issue. We'll just have to wait and see on that. Can LSU get a win? Can the Saints get a win for their fans? Not a good weekend if you're a Saint or an LSU fan, and many people
UL Raging Cajuns got beat. Tulane got beat. I mean,
Southern got beat. Southeastern got beat. But a lot of people are fans of both the LSU and the Saints. Tough weekend for those people that pull for both, huh?
Whew.
Man, we've got to get something else. Of course.
Can we flip the page? Let's flip that page finally. Right?
Yeah. Turn the page, as Bob Seger would say.
Flip the script.
But anyway, so good stuff tonight. We appreciate all the folks tuning in. We appreciate you spreading the roar. Don't forget, Thursday mornings each week, we put this up on youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You can watch the whole thing at your convenience. Do patronize the sponsors that you see on this program, any program on the Pelican, or any program you hear on the radio. Use their products and services when it fits for your needs. We appreciate that. Let them know you saw it on Pelican Sports TV or you heard it on WUBR. That helps make things go round and round.
Special thanks to our director, Alan Traylor, to our floor director, cameraman Marty Campbell, Adam with all the editing and all the graphics.
Kate Adams, a new member of the team, did a little insert.
We just sit here and talk. They do all the work.
Yeah, we got the easy part.
Yes.
We got the easy part.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, we thank you for watching the program and spreading the roar whenever you take it in. On behalf of everyone on the Pelican Broadcasting team, he's Jordy Hultberg. I'm Tommy Christan. We'll talk to you again real soon.
So long, everybody.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy, and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University and the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.